Hello investigators, and welcome back to the topic of all purple all the time, which was one of our most enjoyable videos to date as we actually got to build a deck. Plus we were lucky enough to collaborate with some way more talented and definitely saner people than ourselves. In this video we will bring the notion of an all mystic party into the Forgotten Age. Now we have been able to actually get hold of the last Carcosa packs. The first thing to note is that making a single colour party for any class just got infinitely easier, as you no longer have to rely on promo cards since the release of the 3rd deluxe box. There are now 4 easily accessible investigators for every class, which definitely benefits Mystics, as Marie Lambeau was one of the hardest or most expensive characters to track down. So let's give a warm welcome to Father Mateo as he enters the fold. The Mystics' big challenges were a lack of native ability to fight and investigate, and few options for out-of-class cards. Does the Good Believer solve these? No, not a chance. Stat-wise, he's on the 2nd tier when it comes to willpower. He's equal with Jim and 2nd to Marie for investigation. He is a poor fighter, and he has the average evasion for most of his class. For health and sanity, he is the typical anemic, asthmatic mystic with a will of iron. His deck building is very purple, with the blessed cards on the horizon either being mystic already or of no use to a purple party. Increasingly, being allowed to include up to 5 XP worth of experience card can take the pressure off a group with a limited card pool, meaning he can take some higher level shriveling or blinding light if you don't have enough 0 level copies to go around. But let's face it, you're just going to be after Grotesque Statue. Because both his signature bonus and weakness seal the Elder Sign, this isn't going to be good news for group play of any colour. Like most Mystics, his investigator abilities only benefit himself, apart from the once per game auto fail redo. Most Mystics have unremarkable Elder Sign abilities, apart from Marie, who can remove Doom, so maybe give her priority. Whilst he isn't going to be setting the world on fire, his chief benefit is definitely that he is easier to get hold of than Marie Lambeau. And at least he isn't bringing more Doom to the table. Oh dear. The last few packs have brought us some hefty upgrades to our staple Mystic cards, such as Scrying, Ward of Protection and Arcane Initiate. Speaking of which, the choice to substitute Horror instead of Doom could be very welcome for an all-purple team. We also got some end-of-campaign magic bullets like Time Warp and Seal of the Elder Sign, plus the pumpable Torrent of Power. A quirky little card was St. Hubert's Key. Because it is unique, you may have to negotiate with your other Mystics as to who wants to use it. But as only Agnes is reliant on her accessory slot, anyone else could give it a go and get a much needed bump to parlaying and investigating. Plus, everyone has 8 sanity, so it won't put you in any danger. The Forgotten Age box brought us Mists of Rumpelstiltskin to give us a new way to evade and some much needed movement for the Mystic class. No, don't be silly. Another unique card is the Chthonian Stone, which can remove one of those pesky picture tokens that make many of your spells backfire. But, as you can only ever have one in play, this will probably be very scenario dependent. For a similar effect, check out Protective Incantation, which you can have 2 of in play. And if you can't wait for Grotesque Statue, then Dark Prophecy may be a riskier version that you can access at level 0. Return to the Knight of the Zealot upgraded Mind Wipe, although we still aren't sure how useful it is. Plus, Arcane Studies got an experienced version. Although these skill boosters are very much a matter of your own personal playstyle, it is worth considering them purely for the pair of double icons to commit to skill tests. Whilst none of these are must-haves, particularly for a level 0 game, they do add more options. Out of class, we finally have a couple of non-mystic spells. These can be added by Marie Lambeau, who can take spell cards of up to level 5, and Akachi, who can take cards with charges up to level 4. Arcane Insight is like a really long-lasting flashlight, and definitely helps bolster the Mystic's clue gathering. Suggestion is practical, as all but Jim have 3 base evasion and long-lasting, as with 4, 5 or more willpower you should be successful a lot of the time. Marie and Akachi can both take Archaic Glyphs, as the translated versions are both spells with charges, and the base version is one of the few occult cards, a trait which is also on their deck building list, handy as Marie doesn't have to use up a Seeker slot. Jim, Marie and Agnes also get access to a limited number of non-spell out-of-class cards, in Agnes's case not so limited. Plus there were 2 neutral cards including the powerful Key of Ease. In fact, everything in the Forgotten Age box is available to someone except for Treasure Hunter, Reliable, and Ancient Stone. Here is a reminder of some of the available cards. You might not want to commit to an entire campaign of a single colour team, and there are a number of shorter options if you just want a little taster. The first is Return to the Night of the Zealot, which revitalises the core box scenarios and should be familiar enough for you to focus on getting used to your new party style. If you have less time, then the Labyrinths of Lunacy can be a one and done, or wait for Guardians of the Abyss. As we mentioned at the start of the video, we were lucky enough to work with some real giants of this community when we conceived of this project last year. When it came time to welcome Father Mateo into the fold, there was pretty much one name at the top of our list. Since watching his Know Your Investigator episode on the Good Priest, we knew he would be perfect for the task. And it's not just because he's an Iron Maiden fan. So check out Innkeeper Vase Odin's All Purple All the Time build for Father Mateo on YouTube, and the deck list on ArkhamDB. Plus do make time to watch his superb lore video too. Look for some links in the description. When you don't find any, please remind us we forgot. We're like that, you know.